Good morning, everyone. This is Kevin Sliger here. I'm just filling in as chair for Roscoe for the December meeting. So we'll look to call this meeting to order. So I call the December 4th, 2025 BFCOG Technical Advisory Committee to order. Moving on to roll call here. Tanner, please take the roll call.
All right, once I state your jurisdiction, if you could please state your name so I can mark it down, that'd be great. I will start with Benton-Franklin Transit,
Kevin Sliger,
Benton County,
Robert Mendez,
Benton City, City of Connell,
Tyson Steele,
City of Kennewick,
Heath Malott for City of Kennewick.
City of Pasco, City of Prosser,
Marty Groom,
City of Richland,
Carlo D'Alessandro,
City of West Richland,
Drew Woodruff,
Franklin County,
Jeff Wagner.
Port of Benton, Port of Kennewick, Port of Pasco, and Washout South Central.
Bill Nugent.
All right, we do have a quorum.
all right, moving on to public comment here. At this time, we will open the floor for public comment. If you wish to speak, please state your name and organization. Hearing none, we'll move on and close the public comment period. On to approval of the agenda. So we're looking for a motion to approve last month's agenda, or to approve the agenda.
I move to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The agenda is approved. Moving on to the approval of previous meeting minutes, looking for a motion to approve the November 6th, 2025 meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the meeting minutes.
Second.
Second. Phil.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Right, the meeting minutes are approved from last month. Let's move on to action items here. The first action item will be the regional transportation plan 2050 goals. Aaron, take it away.
Thank you. And yes, there is a proposed motion within your packet, and I'll get to that in a little bit. And then I also included here the slides that were presented to the board last month that I'll be walking through for all of you, and then also a summary. So at first, Tanner, we can go to the next slide, please. So at the November board meeting, we asked the board very high level questions about what are you passionate about within the region, and then also where would you like to see investments within your region. There is a summary provided within your packet, but I'll read through them. So the first question was, what are you passionate about within your region / community? Tanner, next slide, please. And then the next question was, where do you want to see investment in the region? It was a very engaging conversation, which was great to see from our board. It started a little slow, but then it ended up lasting about 30 minutes, all encompassing around different ideas of transportation. The high level items that people talked about were regional planning / cooperation and partnerships. Looking at the massive growth of our region, we need to plan with balance and not back ourselves into a corner. Don't borrow from the future to pay for today. The region should be planning for tomorrow's growth right now. And we need to be thinking about our future and build strategic partnerships. There was also a lot of conversation about traffic and congestion, saying that it's a regional issue. A single accident on the highway causes regional issues in traffic everywhere. People also brought up the environment. Environmental protection is essential when planning for growth. Air quality issues are prevalent. Smog and haze are becoming more of a reality with our region's increasing size. Innovation and stewardship. We need to be looking at the holistic view of the transportation system. Don't just look at one part or one mode of the system. We don't have a proper transportation system. The region needs a complete system. Public transit, active transportation networks are lacking and need improvements to shift modes of travel. There was a lot of conversation about public transit and the role that plays going into the future. So some of the high level things were public transit investments are needed to increase ridership and ease of use. We need a mass transit system. We can't keep funding our roadways right now, so potentially building a light rail system would help. The region should start to think about whether or not we want light rail in 20 to 50 years, express bus service / bus rapid transit to parts of the community. And then there were conversations about quality of life, connectivity, and mobility. So improving the quality of life for all members of the region, not just one mode. We need to improve access to third spaces, not just home and work. Improving connection to all parts of the community. For freight planning and economic vitality, there's conversations about how we need to plan for freight planning, how much it is paramount. Freight investments are needed to reduce congestion and improve economic opportunities for businesses. The region needs to plan for freight to lessen the impact on commuters, so reducing congestion. And then there was conversation about preservation and maintenance and how we need to preserve our current system and how it is hard to fund what we have right now. Adding on to the system might hinder the current system. So as we had all of those different discussions at the board level, it was very timely that the state of the cities was also the same week as this conversation with our board members. So Tanner, next slide, please. So I put up quotes that were stated from each of the city's mayors at the state of the cities that reflected not only what is in each of the cities' strategic plans for the council, but also the directions that they're hoping to go going into the future. So I'm not going to read all of these, but some of the things were plan growth responsibly, road safety is a top priority, building a city that moves safely and efficiently, safety and expanding mobility, mobility options for all users of the system. So this really hammered home the point of trying to be able to relay the things that are going on at the city level and the same goals that each of you have also can be expanded out to the regional system. Next slide, please, Tanner. So in that discussion, and this is where I will start to have a discussion here at the TAC level. So these 12 different items were presented to the board based on the conversation saying, all right, here's the potential goals. Do any of these resonate with you? And conversation ensued, and there was more popularity with some of the items than others. And that is what the drafted goals then became within your TAC packet. So Tanner, next slide, please. So the draft RTP goals, so it went from 12 to 9. Some of them were consolidated, but to read each of the definitions are found within your TAC packet, but these were the 9 overarching goals that seemed to garner the most support from our board members. So with that, I'm open to having a discussion with at the TAC level. If not, there is a proposed motion on the next slide, but I think, Tanner, we can keep it on the that goal slide right now if anybody has questions.
So Aaron, this is what came out of the last board meeting with the elected officials?
That is
These
correct.
9? Okay.
In each of past several months, I've talked about the Washington State Transportation Plan and how they have their 6 legislative priorities within there. And then there's the federal planning emphasis areas. All of those can be encapsulated under these goals as well. So we are meeting our requirements.
What did the board consider intentional harm from the safety standpoint on the transportation system?
So, Carlo, that's a good question. So that was one of the, Tanner, if you go back one more slide. So that was the definition of security, and it has been lumped under the safety header. One of the federal planning emphasis areas is that exact sentence of increasing security on the transportation system, and that's just I kept the same definition. The definitions can be workshopped, and I would say intentional harm would be road users going the incorrect way on a roadway or something like that.
Okay. To me, it sounded more like, you get a bad actor from like a cybersecurity sort of thing, and they hack into
Traffic control.
your traffic control system, stuff like that. Okay.
No, thank you, Carlo.
Yep.
So yeah, the security goal was consolidated under the safety. Tourism, travel and tourism was consolidated under economic vitality, and the health goal was consolidated under quality of life.
Okay, any further discussion on that? All right, so do we have a motion to approve the regional transportation plan goals as presented?
I move to approve the transportation goals as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes. Moving on to reports and discussion items. First discussion item here, or report I should say, is the 2026 obligation status. So take it away, Dan.
All right, thank you. So yeah, we are into the early stages of federal fiscal year 2026. As a little overview, we got to make sure we meet our target by September 30th of next year. Right now, we have a very rough estimate of 5 million as our target. This year, we have a total of 13 projects programmed that amount to just over 8.1 million. These are the STBG, TAC, and CRP projects. And as you can see on the estimated obligation date, there are a couple that are close approaching. I'm gonna push Benton Cities back since Nathan Raddick is no longer there, and they hired a new public works director who starts January 1. But for the ones that are getting close on the estimated obligation date is Benton County's Countywell Road Phase 3 project, the PE phase under STBG. Is there any updates on the obligation status for that?
No, I don't have an update. I'll have to look into it. Sorry.
No problem. And then.
I'll have
Prosser,
I'll have Robert reach out to you, Tanner.
Perfect, sounds great. The Prosser Byron Road improvements, looks like February 2026. Marty, do you have anything on that? Any updates?
Yeah, we're hoping in February. If it gets pushed out, it'd be March.
Sounds good. And then Kennewick's 2 projects under the TAC, East Columbia Park and KID Kellogg to Edison. Heath, do you have any updates on those obligations?
No, we should still be good with that February date.
Sounds good. And I'll reach out next couple weeks too, to show the estimated obligation dates and whatnot, see if they need revised. But as a reminder, if you do not think you're gonna obligate, by the August deadline that we have, the April TAC meeting is when your come clean, time is. So, just keep that in mind. Here are the 2027 projects, which the majority of them are looking like, almost all are going into 2027, so. There are any early obligations on these, please let us know, but we can, move forward to next one.
All right, so moving on here, the next item is regional list of priority freight projects, and Tanner will be addressing that as well.
Yeah, so.
Hey, real quick, sorry. Hey,
No problem.
Tanner, this is
Yeah.
Heath. Were you gonna put out like a little calendar to tell us when we need our amendments in?
Yes, I'm gonna send that in an email.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay, so yeah, on November 12th, last month, I attended a webinar that was held by WashDOT about the National Highway Freight Plan funding consideration for federal fiscal year 2027 to 2032. You can see on the attachments in the TAC packet, I gave a little one-pager overview, but just as a higher level overview, they're looking to distribute $11 million for each year from 2027 to 2032. These are freight related projects. The scoring criteria is also attached along with on the one pager. And also the project instructions and submission form is attached as well. We have to submit a priority list of projects and submit project applications by February 27th of next year. And I'm gonna send out an email, but the next few slides are a timeline of the process of the priority project list and submitting the applications. So this is for the priority project list. I know for our freight plan, we reached out and requested freight projects from 2026 to 2050. And of each list, there were 5 prioritized projects. But with the scoring criteria, I would like to send that list back and have you kind of line them up with the scoring criteria, which I will do so with instructions by the end of business on Monday. Jurisdictions and TAC members have till December 19th to review their project lists. Within the email, I'm going to send the template for the information and request that is submitted with it. We will then in January present the prioritized project list to TAC members and then the board on the 16th in January. And then in February, before the deadline of submitting the 5th, we will have a recommended adoption and then a board adoption on February 20th. For the project, is there any questions on that for the project list?
Tanner, if I wanted to add a project, is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a more preservation based, but I think it'd be a good one for the city's rail system.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's going to be some time to add, revise, or reprioritize all projects for sure. All right, and then for the project application submittal timeline, WashDOT requested that the MPOs review and work with local jurisdictions, and then the MPO submits both the project priority list and the application. So this is the timeline for the application development, review, and submittal. So on February 6th, jurisdictions will submit their applications. The applications will also be included in the email. And then from February 9th to the 13th, BFCOG will review and work with jurisdictions to finalize those applications. And then on February 20th, trying to give, I know the deadline's the 27th, but trying to submit early and have some grace time if there's any hiccups along the way. So gonna do the entire submittal by February 20th. Any questions on that?
Hey, Tanner, Tanner, this is Heath. Just looking at one of the sheets that you have in here. Looks like from your presentation you watched. Looks like it's 11 million annually, but then 50% apportioned to state and 50 to local. So is it only 5.5 million that per year that all of the local agencies are going to be fighting over that amount of money?
That's a good catch. I believe that is the case. I will definitely have that in my email. I'll look into that and have that answer in my email for sure. But I do believe, yes, that is the case.
Any further discussion? All right, we'll move on to public comment here. So we'll now open a second public comment period. Please state your name and organization. All right, hearing none, we'll move on to member comments. So I'll go down the list here. I'll start things off from Benton-Franklin Transit. So we're in the middle of outreach for our annual service plan. We have some plans to extend a route to the Columbia Basin Veterans Center and provide some service to some new areas in Pasco. We're also planning a route to the new aquatics facility next year. So over the next month, we'll have some various open houses to gain some feedback from the public. Some other cool things that will be happening on the BFT front this month. We will be starting our new Route 27X. This is a peak express service from our new Queensgate Transit Center to North Richland with the intention of serving the PMML area, WSU Tri-Cities, and the employment center up there. That service starts on December 15th. So there'll be buses every 20 minutes for a 3-hour period during the AM and an additional 3-hour period during the PM. So this really is the first of its kind in our service, an express service that's tailored to one of our area's largest employment centers. And then last thing I wanted to mention, we'll be providing service during the Cable Bridge run this month. So I'd love to see you all out there. Moving on to Benton County. Any comments?
We've got a couple of our safety projects that have finally are going to get authorization to go to construction from the DOT. So we're going to get started on those. One of them is just a bunch of stop sign replacements, and then the one following that has some pedestrian improvements over in the Cottonwood area that we've been trying to get done for quite a while. So those are the two projects we have going on. Other than that, not a whole lot of stuff going on.
Great, thanks, Matt. Moving on to City of Connell here. Tyson?
Yeah, I just started last week. I took over for Hallie Tuck, so I don't have much information for anybody. Hopefully next time we do a meeting, then I'll have a little more information. It's nice to meet everybody.
Yeah, great. Nice to have you here, Tyson. Moving on to City of Kennewick. Heath?
Yeah, we're pretty much wound down on all of our construction projects. We got the Quinault CCB project all tied up with substantial completion. All of our overlays are pretty much done. So right now we're doing a lot of office work and design. We've got JUB continuing to work on the design of Columbia Center Boulevard widening. They just submitted, I think it was 3 weeks ago, the 60% plan review. They're moving along with edits to 90%. And we just got under contract a real estate consultant. So we're going to start in the right-of-way phase for the Columbia Center Boulevard project, and that'll probably take a good year and a half on that. But that's about it. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Heath. Prosser, Marty.
Yeah, construction season's for us winding down, trying to get some projects closed out. And then the big news for us is we've relocated into the first floor of the Benton County Courthouse. So our first day open was today. So it's great news for us.
Awesome, thank you, Marty. Carlos, City of Richland.
Yeah, so it's South George Washington Way intersection project at Columbia Point there is winding down for the winter. We've got 4 lanes now open southbound, and it's been working really great. So traffic congestion has been pretty minimal now with that extra lane. So it's working good. We'll have to be back in the spring to finish stuff up, but it's working as intended. We are working through SR 240 Aaron Drive complete streets improvements. We had a good meeting with WashDOT for the peer review meeting. So we're continuing through that project, and we also got the RFQ submissions back for the next phase of that design, which is the $2.4 million in PE in our obligation stuff too. So we're on track to meeting that. And our downtown connectivity project, also called the Downtown Loop, we had our public meeting a few weeks ago in November, and it turned out pretty good. We had lots of participation. I think once people heard a little bit more about the project and we were able to debunk some of the rumors going around about it, I think a lot of people walked away with a better understanding, a little bit more, a little happier about what we're trying to do with that project too. So really great all around, and I appreciate a lot of the folks that showed up from some of our partners here that to help advocate for that. So appreciate that too. That's my update.
Yeah, great, Carlo. It's been great to be part of that outreach, and yeah, as a citizen of Richland and representative of BFT, I appreciate all that outreach. So moving on to West Richland here, Andrew.
Yeah, we have our Red Mountain Transportation Improvement Project that's moving forward at a good pace. Had a couple of pours in our CID canal retaining wall work this last week or two. The Belmont SR22 for Rupert roundabout is set to open Monday, some point during the day. So that's the first roundabout of 5 that'll be constructed. And then also on Monday, we'll be shutting down Van Giesen from that roundabout west to Keene Road. That'll be the next section under construction, and adding the roundabout at Paradise and SR224. Then we also have our Keene Road widening phase 1 project that's in design right now that'll widen Keene Road from Bombing Range Road to Belmont. We got Keene Road overlay TIV funds that will overlay Keene Road from Bombing Range Road to East City Limits, basically Kennedy. That'll happen in 2026. And then we just got TIV funds for Bombing Range overlay from Keene Road to Blue Heron. That'll happen in 27. Then we're also working on design for the South Highlands Keene signal. We're planning on that going out next year. That's all I got.
Great, thanks, Andrew. Jeff with Franklin County.
Yeah, we just finished our Glade Road north overlay, just north of Pasco City Limits here. It's about 3 miles. Gonna go to Ed here soon for the North Railroad overlay and widening, just north of city limits here. That's about 3/4 of a mile. That'll start in the spring. And kind of finishing up our crack and chip seal routes for summer 2026 of some of the county roads. We're gonna get crack sealed and chip sealed, and then doing a lot of bridge inspections lately. So that's what we got going on.
Great, thanks, Jeff. Last but not least, Phil with Washcott.
Can't think of anything for this group unless folks have questions.
All right, thank you.
I
Happy
do have a
holidays,
question.
y'all.
I have a question about the SR 240 widening at Hagen and between Hagen and the Jadwin Stevens intersection. How did that turn out?
To my knowledge, good, but I'd have to check with the PE, so I could ask some questions and get back to you.
Right, any more comments or questions? Okay, moving on to the next meeting reminder. So the next TAC meeting will be held January 8th, 2026 at 11 a.m. Hybrid format as always. And with that, we'll move on to adjournment. So if there's no further business, I consider this December 4th TAC meeting is adjourned. Thanks,
Happy
everyone.
holidays.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.